Assalamualaikum and very good morning.
Salam Doktor.
Waalaikumsalam
Boleh
Doktor.
dengar?
Dengar.
All right. Okay. Before we start, let me try to share. Okay, so this is FIN420 or FIN420 Financial Management. I can say this is the introductory course for finance, basically. And I believe for you guys, this is just one of two maybe courses related to finance. Okay, but bear in mind when we talk about FIN420 or financial management, always put yourself in the positions of a company or a firm, or at least the position as one of the decision maker from a company's perspective. Okay, so this is not individual, it's not personal financial management. So this is tools, or like I said, decision making process for companies. But before we go into details, into the content, let me introduce myself. Okay, my name is Muhammad Faisal. I graduated with PhD in Islamic Finance actually from Durham University, and the rest, my MBA, my degree, and even my diploma, all from UiTM. And for my professional qualification, I have registered financial planner and Shariah registered financial planner from Malaysian Financial Planning Council, MFPC. And I'm also the certified MFPC trainer. Okay, teaching courses or give trainings for MFPC. Used to work with UiTM before, okay, but now I'm attached with UPSI. And prior to that, I was with MBank before, very early in my career. And that's my mobile number. Okay, my mobile number. So let's say if you want to create a WhatsApp group, for example, you can add me in. And the bottom two is my email addresses. Okay, so for financial management, this is a 3 credit hours, okay, based on the MQF. And this semester, if you notice, I believe you noticed this, the structure of our meetings slightly different. Okay, previously, the meetings is either 7 times or 5 times, especially when we have courses involving calculations. We're gonna have 7 meetings. Okay, 7 meetings with 3 hours contact. Okay, meaning our meetings just 2 hours per session, per seminar. Okay, starting this semester, in order to comply with MQA, okay, but perhaps I'm not sure, perhaps there's an audit or there's some comment from MQA whereby the meeting must meet or correspond with the MQF credit. So therefore, all courses, regardless calculation ke, reading courses ke, must have 3 contact hours per meeting as well, per seminar. So that's why the setting is slightly different. Now we have Saturday and Sunday sessions. Okay, whereby for 3 credit hours, we're gonna have 1 hour on Saturday, okay, and 2 hours on Sunday to meet the 3 hours requirement as I mentioned. Okay, bear with me just to share the. I guess you have this page anyway, or this document. Okay, so for you guys from the group of NBTM2A, okay, so our Saturday is just 1 hour, so it will be 8:30 to 9:30 lah for today. Okay, but for Sunday, it will be 8:30 to 10:30. Okay, for group A, for you guys lah. So later on for group B, they started slightly later lah, 10:45. Okay, so that's classes. A bit about the course description. So it's designed to enable students to understand the concept of finance. So later on, you're going to see we have 11 topics actually, 11 topics. Quite broad, a lot of calculations. So therefore, this class, you need to have calculators. It covers financial ratios, financial statements, cash budgets, time value of money, working capital. So those are the topics that we're going to go through throughout the semesters. Okay. 90% of the course, 90% of the topics involving calculations, very minimum topics related to theories. Okay, so this is the course and the outcomes. Okay, at the end of the course, they should be able to explain the current and future financial plans for companies, for corporations, to report corporate's financial position and performance. Okay, so for number 2 here, CNO number 2, this is basically will be your group assignment, okay, group project. Okay, and then number 3, apply the knowledge of financial planning in order to manage shareholders' wealth and achieve the financial management goals. So this is basically throughout the module, throughout the course, you're going to go through all the relevant calculations or relevant methods and techniques that we can do to apply financial planning, financial management to the company. So these are the 11 topics. Okay, we have the introduction to financial management that we're going to go through today. Okay. Again, previously when we have just 7 meetings, 2 hours, most of the time topic number 1 will be skipped, and we expect the students to read by themselves lah. Okay, but since we have more time, 3 hours per seminar, okay, so we're going to go through this topic number 1 later today, and we're going to start straight topic number 2 tomorrow, and perhaps if we have much time, we're going to go through topic 3 as well for tomorrow. Okay, sorry. Then we have 2 and 3 that we're going to go through tomorrow, the understanding of financial statements. Okay, just bear in mind again, finance or financial management is about tools and techniques. Okay, tools and techniques to do financial decision making. And we sometimes rely on documents, which is the financial statements. And when you learn accounting, for example, you learn how to do the financial statement. Okay, how to process, how to develop, how to create financial statements, the balance sheet, the income statement. Okay, but here the financial statements are our raw material or our source of documents. Okay, we are not learning how to prepare the financial statement, but we are actually how to utilize the financial statements to do decision making. Okay, so topic number 2 is basically the reintroduction of the concept of financial statements, so that you can use that financial statements to do topic 3 and 4 actually. Okay, financial ratios and analysis, whereby we're going to use the financial statements. okay, and do analysis based on financial ratios. And then for topic number 4, financial forecasting and planning. Still, we're going to use financial statements, but now instead of we utilize it to do analysis based on historical data. Topic number 4, we're going to do forecasting. Okay, we're going to do something to predict or to plan for the future. Okay, financial ratio tu basically things for the past. Okay, based on past performance, kita buat analysis, and then kita tengok performance. Okay, but for topic number 4, we're going to do for the future, something that yet to happen. Okay, but again using financial statements. And then we have topic 5, 6, and 7, which is related. Okay, so I can group it that way. So 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 4, perhaps kita boleh group it as in one. And then 4, 5, 6 is another topic that we can group together. 5, 6, 7, sorry, 5, 6, and 7. So we have working capital management. Okay, this is one of the elements of how we manage our current assets. Okay, so under the working capital, we have 4 different current assets. We have cash, marketable securities that we're going to discuss in topic 6. And then the final 2, account receivable and inventory. So that's from the final 2 of working capital. So 5, 6, and 7 is another group of section of the content lah. And then we have topic 8 and 9, another group when we have managed the working capital. Purpose of we managing the working capital is basically to ensure that we have enough current assets. Okay, kita kena ada cukup cash, kita kena ada proper inventory management. Okay, but sometimes the company might suffer shortage of cash contohnya, ataupun shortage of whatever working capital. So how to solve this? We have to borrow. We have to have financing. So therefore we have 8 and 9 whereby we have 2 options whether to borrow it in short-term basis or to borrow it in a longer-term basis. Okay, so that's the option that we're going to go through topic 8 and 9. And finally, topic 10 and 11, mathematics of finance and capital budgeting. So these 2, they are not really related actually, but in order to do capital budgeting, we need to understand the concept of mathematics of finance or the concept of time value of money. Okay, so here, topic 10, this is related to the concept of time value of money. And this concept is important on its own, kena faham. Mostly used related to investment. Yeah, the concept of investment. Okay, capital budgeting is is a term or is an activity whereby company will invest, okay, in order to purchase or involve with some projects that usually cost a fortune ataupun cost a lot lah. So before they decided to invest in high value, so we need to learn whether this investment will make money or not. Okay, so that's why we need to understand the concept of time value of money. So 10 and 11 we can group it together juga lah. So if we group it like this, okay, so today with with no regards to topic number 1, topic number 1 kita akan buat hari ni. So we have these groups. Okay, even though the group ni bukan bermaksud kita akan habiskan everything in 1 week ya. There are some topics requires more time to complete. Okay, but some might be less lah. Okay, so for example, my plan for this week, seminar 1. Okay, so the first 3 topics ni, okay, kalau tak complete 3 ni semua, but at least seminar 1 akan complete the first 3 topic lah. Okay, but the spillover of topic 3, kalau tak sempat habis, we're going to proceed with the next seminar. And then by the end of this seminar 2, kita akan complete sampai topic 4. Seminar 2 kat sini. Okay, and then seminar 3 and 4 dekat sini. Seminar 5, seminar 6, and 7, the first 1 hour in seminar 7, kita akan complete ataupun do some revision. Okay, and we're gonna leave the final seminar 7 tu, yang the Sunday one, seminar 7. Yang Sunday is reserve your time. Make sure you can come to class because this is where we're gonna do our final test. Okay, seminar 7, the Sunday punya slot lah. Okay, we're gonna do our final test there. Okay, for the first test, I'm gonna double check. I'm gonna ask the coordinator sama ada we're gonna do it online or take home, or they want to do it in class. Okay, for that I will ask the coordinator because we need to be the same lah, synchronized with other groups. And that I'm gonna confirm with you later. Tapi for the final test, for sure, we're gonna do it on the final seminar on Sunday, the 2 hours slot. Okay, the 2 hour slot too, we're gonna do our final test. And talking about the assessment, so this is how the assessment for the course looks like. Okay, for this course, there's no final exam. Okay, we don't have final exam. So this is 100% assessment. Okay, so this first 20% is for your individual. Okay, so this is individual assignment or quizzes. Most of the time based on online or take home lah. Okay, it's based on online quiz and together with take home test. So it's gonna be 20% of this. Okay, so nama pun assignments or quizzes, so bear in mind at least 2 lah. Okay, it's more than 1 lah. Usually it will be 2. Okay, satu part would be online quiz, multiple choice, and the other part is just take home assignment. I'm going to give questions on your future, and then you do at home, and then bring it to the class in the next session. Okay, so that's the first 20%. And then we have one group project. Remember, one of the CLO just now is to analyze company's performance. Okay, and we're going to do that as part of the group project. So this is quite huge, 30%. And this 30% usually will be split into 2. Okay, 20% is for written report. Okay, written report. And the 10% is based on presentation. Okay, so this presentation usually I'm going to ask you to do a video instead of you present in class. We're going to rely on video presentation. So you're going to record it and send the link to me later. Okay, so it consists of 2 elements with the combined marks of 30%. Okay, and just to let you know, group project will be based on topic 3. Okay, so group project ni akan based on topic 3 that we're going to go through tomorrow. So really important to understand topic 3 in order for you to do the group project. And then we're going to have test 1, the first test with 20%. So, bear with me. So based on these topics, usually, the first topics comes from the first 4 topics. So for test 1. Okay, and since topik 3 ni kita dah buat group project, so this ratio will not be in test 1 lah. Okay, financial ratios analysis will not be in test 1. This will be your group project. Okay, so the rest ni boleh masuk dalam test 1 lah. Some basic intro, some question on financial statements, and also the forecasting and planning ni for sure akan masuk lah. This one for sure masuk test 1. Okay, so letak je lah kat sini topic 1, 2, and 4 for test 1. And for assignment and quizzes, I backtrack sekejap lah Assignment and quizzes ni can come from 5, 6, and 7. Okay, assignment quizzes can come from topic 5, 6, and 7. Okay, kalau dia dah masuk 5 and 6, perhaps 7 tak masuk kat sini lah. Tapi for the final test that we're going to do on the final day, the seminar 7, we're going to cover the rest. Tapi ikut last semester, dia start dengan topik 7 juga kat sini. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 for the final test. And this based on 70%. 70% tu maknanya bukan 70% lah, 70 marks. So it requires you to do in 2 hours time, 70 marks question comes from topic 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Starting from here, account receivable. Inventory management, short-term financing, long-term financing, mathematics of finance, and capital budgeting. So the earlier topic yang dah keluar dekat assignment, group project test 1 will not be covered in the final test. Okay. So that's the final 30%. So ingat there's no final exam. So to pass this course, you kena buat semua. Make sure all the assessments, quiz, group project, the 2 tests, you have to complete it. Okay. You kena siapkan and kena hantar lah, or else in order to get 50% tu out of 100, it will be difficult lah kalau ada satu item missing. Contohnya tak buat test 1. Imagine there's no 20% kat sini. So you rely on 80% je nak lulus kan. So it's quite difficult lah. Okay, try to ensure that every assessments will be submitted. Okay, 99% will pass the course dengan syarat you hantar semua. Semua ni buat. Okay, ada 1% je yang hantar semua but still fail the course. Okay, kenapa? Because the marks are too low. Test 1 dapat 1% contohnya lah. Very, very low. Dia tak study langsung. So tak boleh lah. Still you have to show some effort to show some understanding. Okay, in order for you to pass. Okay, tapi one of the main thing to ensure that every assessment tu kena buat. Macam based on previous semesters, the failures selalunya either salah satu ni tak buat lah. Assignment ada 2 contohnya, dia buat 1 je. Yang 1 tu pun dapat 1% contoh je lah. So out of 20 dapat 1/20 contoh lah, 1/20. So the rest ni tak cukup-cukup makan je, so bila combine dapat 40/100. So tak boleh lah, it's too far untuk lulus kan, to get 50. So the key is just to ensure study accordingly, submit all the assessments. Okay, if katakanlah tak sempat nak hantar on a certain deadlines, okay, but don't make it a habit lah. Ensure you submit, make a request, and usually I'm gonna give second chance macam tu lah for you to submit. Okay, tapi jangan diam je lah. Okay, make an effort. let me know, and I'm gonna make some adjustment juga. Okay, so that's assessment. And this is additional references if you need to use any books lah. If you need to use, you can refer. And the syllabus, the whole syllabus can be downloaded. You can download the syllabus from the future lah. I dah share in the future. Okay. Any question? Yes, Izian. Salam. Okay, sebelum saya terlupa please make sure sign in your attendance from the future. The syllabus is still chapter 5. Let me double check. Okay, so this is a syllabus that I attach in the future. You can download dalam bahagian dekat bawah tu, course info kalau tak salah. Check je dalam future tu, not in the weeks dia ada week 1 lah, week EPJJ lah. Dia dekat bawah tu ada continuous assessment, ada salah satu tu which is the course info, the syllabus. So this one I dah discuss tadi the description, the CLOs, and also the part of the syllabus. Okay, ada 11 topics. Okay, cuma kalau dalam slide tadi tu is just the main topic, but here you can see the details of the topics. Okay, that we have topic 1 and the 5 subtopics, and then topic 2 and then topic 3, and then this 4, 5, 6 and the rest lah sampai topic 11. Okay, and then the same coursework assessment, pecahan tu okay, here lagi nampak lah 30% tu is based on project and presentation, and then the individual assignments or quizzes tadi lah 20%. Okay, the test 1 20, final 30 is the same. Okay, and the same reference and also textbook and my contacts juga lah. Okay, so your question tadi, topic 5 tu, is it about the syllabus ke apa? So if you use this, you can see lah that it's up to topic 11. Okay. Okay, so it's 9:01 now. Maybe kita take short break kejap maybe 2 minutes before we proceed with topic number 1. Okay, let's take 2 minutes break. Okay, let's continue with topic number 1, Introduction to Financial Management. Again, so we have about 40 something minutes ni, or not even 50 minutes lah, lebih kurang. I'm going to just highlight a few parts in topic number 1 so that we can get a clear understanding, okay, what we're going to go through throughout the semester and why we need to understand the relationship between the organizations and also the financial markets, and why we have companies at the first place. And number 3, the functions of the financial managers. And lastly, the return relationship. Okay, when we talk about making decisions, okay, to make investment or even to do financing, we need to understand the risks. And every risk that we're going to take, it must be compensated with suitable returns. Okay. So this is the definition definition of finance. Okay, finance can be defined as the art and science of managing money. Okay, so when we talk about managing money, this is not only we manage money when we have the money. Okay, we're gonna do our decision makings, our management, based on the situation whereby we don't have that money. Okay, so in economic, we're gonna define that as the positions of when you have surplus and when you're in the position of deficit. Okay, number for surplus is when you have excess funds, excess money, and deficits is when you have less money. Okay, so finance is a art and science of managing when you have surplus, and at the same time, how you manage your positions when you are in deficit. So when you're in surplus position, when you have plus or you have surplus or deficit, surplus or excess of funds, what we're gonna do, usually we're gonna invest. When you have plus money, so you're gonna invest. So the finance part of management is to understand where can we get more of our surplus by investing. Okay, so there are some parts of the topics we're going to discuss how ataupun where to invest the money. And secondly, when you are in deficit position, when you have minus ataupun when you have less money, this is where you need to understand how to borrow ataupun do financing. You have to borrow money or you have to do some financing in order to cover the deficit. Okay, and we're going to go through this as well. Okay, especially towards the end of the topic, when we have this short-term and long-term financing. Okay, because we have a lot of alternatives, a lot of options, but to decide which is the best for the company, it depends on some criteria. Okay, and we need to do some calculations in order for us to compare, and then we're going to decide which is the best place or best alternative for us to borrow the money from. Okay, so that's the positions that we have. Either you're in surplus or in deficit, and we're going to use a lot of tools in order to assist the finance managers to make decisions. Okay, so it also to obtain and allocate financial resources effectively and efficiently. So this correspond with this one. So to obtain is to get resources. So obtain is based on this lah, whereby where to get the money from to obtain it. Okay, where to get the funds. So obtain ni you gather from equity ke, from debt ke, in order to get funds. And once you have the funds, you have to allocate. Okay, allocation. So here allocate laku di surplus ni lah. You're gonna allocate the funds in the right resources in order to generate more returns. Okay, so they correspond juga lah with this for the second point, to obtain and allocate financial resources effectively and efficiently. Okay, maintenance and creation of economic value and wealth. Okay, so this is going to be related with our surplus position, whereby you're going to create values based on your company's traits and also the company's operations in order to generate more wealth to the shareholders. And finance usually will not be standalone. Okay, as a finance in a company, usually they might have their own department by themselves, accounts and finance department, for example, and they need to integrate with other departments. They tak boleh lah standalone as a department. So they might integrate with others together with marketing, for example, to understand what kind of budgets that the marketing needs in order for them to do their activities. And operation ni broad lah. Operation ni termasuklah HR, whereby HR always correspond dengan finance, because for example when we talk about remuneration, salaries, so finance dengan HR will work together lah. Okay, and finally finance deal with all the decision making, as I mentioned, for example to introduce new product, to invest in new assets. So new asset ni again comes in the final topic, capital budgeting. Okay, capital budgeting involved with the decision in purchasing new assets, borrowing, issue stock and debt ni is in the topics of short-term and long-term financing. Because these are the options that we have. Okay, when company face shortage of funds, so these are the options. Kat mana nak pinjam? Okay, don't worry about all the jargons or terms that you might not be familiar with. We're going to go through each and every single of the terms ni when we go through the topics later. So finance is concerned with the process, as I mentioned, but it relates with institutions, the markets, and also the instruments involved. Okay, because when we talk about the concept of economy again, okay, tadi ada tulis kan, surplus, then we have deficit kat sini kan. Right, and you understand the concept of if you have surplus, you invest, and if you have deficit, you tend to borrow money. Right. That's the process lah, basically. The process of if you have surplus, you invest. If you have deficit, you have to borrow. But where to invest and where to borrow comes the intermediaries. Dia ada pihak kat tengah-tengah ni. In order for them to meet, we're going to have the middleman. So I'm going to put institution kat tengah-tengah ni, institution, and then we have the markets kat tengah-tengah ni juga. Okay, so we have two entity lah, the markets and also the institutions, and they're going to be the middleman. Okay, so institution ni apa? Contohnya banks lah. Banks is the institutions. Okay, and the markets, we have the cash market, and also kita panggil dia lah, the financial market, and also the capital market, FMNCM. So financial market ni more on the short-term basis, capital market is more on the long-term basis. But anyway, just imagine this is the middleman. Okay, the middleman. So how the fund flows? Remember, surplus ni tadi ada plus, ada excess. And this excess should be invested. Dia tak boleh simpan dekat company tu, dia kena invest. And where they can invest? They can invest in the institutions. They put their money in the bank, dalam FD for example, put in the fixed deposits, or they can invest in the financial markets, okay, and the capital market, okay, depending on the products lah. Dia boleh invest in the government's punya securities, short-term basis, or if they want to invest in longer term, they boleh invest dalam stocks ataupun invest in bonds, for example. So those are the options that the surplus parties can put their money in. And the main objective when they put their money in institutions ataupun in the market is to get more returns. Okay, that's the purpose. And the money that pumped in to the institutions and in the market usually will be channeled. Okay, will be channeled to these deficit units. Okay, so deficit units, remember deficit ni those yang minus, yang require funds, require funding, requires money. And the money that they want to borrow can come from any of these middlemen. So contohnya dengan bank. The companies can go to the bank and get some financing, get some loans from the bank. Okay, so that's one way. Or they can go to the financial market by issuing bonds, for example, ataupun issue new stocks in the capital market. So bila dia pergi issue stocks in the market, okay, paling common bila dia first time launch their stocks in the market, dia ada IPOs kan, initial public offerings. So the IPO ni is a tool for these deficit companies to raise fund, okay, go to the capital market, jual stocks dia, and those yang surplus ni tadi will be the ones who purchase the stocks. Okay, so nampak tak the flow of the money tu, of the funds come from these surplus units through the middlemen and then go to the deficit units. Okay, and remember, your position as a company not necessarily going to be always at this end, at this side. Sometimes you can be at this side as well. So your position berubah from surplus to deficit depending on situation. So when you are in the surplus position, you're going to invest in order to get returns, but at the same time, you can be at the deficit section whereby you need funds to launch new products, to launch ataupun to purchase new assets, okay, whatever reason lah, to involve with new projects. So you need money, so you can be at this position as well, okay, concurrently. So that's finance is all about. Okay, you manage when you're here, and at the same time you do decision making when you are in the deficit as well. Okay, so that's finance lah, concerned with the process and how you relate with the middleman in the form of financial institutions and also the financial markets. Okay, among the individuals, businesses and government. So again, this is the economic units. Okay, dalam economic units selalunya kita ada household. So household ni individual lah, kita semua. Retail customers. And then we have firms. Okay, so firms ni are the businesses, the ones yang kita akan go through. We always position ourselves in the firms or businesses shoes. Okay, and then we have the third party, the government. Okay, so all three can be here at the surplus or here at the deficit. Dia boleh berubah. Okay, the roles boleh berubah. Okay, for instance, kalau kita tengok household dengan firms, so imagine household tu is the surplus unit and the firms is in the deficit units. Contoh lah, sini household, H, and sini firms. So contoh firms, bank lah, bank pun firm juga. So how it works, bila kita letak household kat sini and banks dekat sini, so surplus unit is the household. Imagine kita buka savings account. Okay, kita surplus, we have money, we put our money in the savings account, and who have the who maintain the funds? The bank. So bank akan keep the money and then akan invest. Okay, tu contoh yang pertama lah. But we can letak the firms ni dekat sini and kita letak government dekat deficit pun boleh juga. Similarly, the surplus units now is the second situation. Is the firms, company ada excess of funds. So how they want to generate returns? By purchasing dalam financial market, government akan jadi deficit. Government boleh issue bond. Government bond ataupun issue short-term instrument in the form of Malaysian government securities. Okay, so firm ni tadi boleh lah beli ataupun invest in government securities in order to get returns. So the deficit here is the government. And they can change roles between government, household and also firms. Okay, and even though you akan kata, I tak kerja dengan finance, tak dalam finance, so I don't need to know finance, for example. But those who work in non-financial positions, in non-financial jobs, will benefit by understanding the finance process in order for you to interact effectively dengan the personnel in the finance department. Okay, you can understand the process and also the procedures. So you can have better understanding. And when you have better understanding, you can have better arguments lah. If in order for you, kalau katakan you kerja dengan procurement, for example. Procurement kan, you involved with procure of assets. So if you understand finance very well, then you can argue and also can make your claims on how much budget you need in order for you to sustain the procurement departments, for example. Sama juga kalau HR, you need to understand in terms of the HR related finances, termasuklah salaries, bonuses, and any other related claims, for example, relate dengan human resource. Okay, so that's the importance of this finance lah. Even though you're not working in finance department contohnya, but by having this information, this knowledge, it will be much beneficial to you. So these are the two tadi I cerita. We have the financial market dengan financial institution. So these are the intermediaries, the middlemen that channels the savings of individual. Remember tadi when we talk about savings, this is the surplus, the plus, and they're going to channel this surplus from individuals, businesses, and government, the three parties I mentioned, into loans or investment. So this is for the deficit units. Okay, so loans ni, deficit units apa? Individuals yang nak beli kereta. Kalau kita tengok kat sini tadi lah. Okay, deficit, kalau surplus kita deposit duit kan, buka account dekat bank. For deficit is basically those yang memerlukan duit, memerlukan funding, nak beli rumah, nak beli kereta. So they go to the institutions to borrow ataupun to get financing, and the money comes from the surplus. So sama jugalah. Here you can see the flow of the money, the funds channels from the surplus to the deficit units. Okay, that's the function of banks, financial institution ni bank lah. And beside the bank, we have the financial markets. Okay, the other parts of intermediaries, whereby this is a place, okay, where the suppliers of funds, again, they use the term suppliers. So suppliers ni siapa? Those yang surplus. And the demanders of funds, who demands the funds from the deficit units. Okay, and this medium or platforms for the financial market is a place whereby kita boleh mempertemukan lah between the suppliers and the demanders of funds. Okay, and in the financial market, we have two key markets. It's called money markets and also the capital market. Okay, so the key difference between the two is the terms. For the money market, it is a short-term instruments, okay, short-term plays, whereby the suppliers of fund, the investors, can put their money in short-term basis. So the short-term, usually we're going to label them as anything less than 1 year. Okay, less than or equals to 1 year maximum. Okay, where short-term debt and marketable securities are traded. Okay, so usually money market ni, the parties will be the firms and also the government. Okay, we have corporate punya issuance and we have government issuance as well. Okay, so for capital market pula, anything more than 1 year, not equals to. Let me erase this. Okay, anything more than 1 year ataupun indefinite. Something yang tak ada maturity lah ataupun no maturity. Okay, anything more than 1 year ataupun items with no maturity. So for example, stocks. Stocks dia tak ada maturity. You invest in companies, selagi company to exist in the market, you can invest in that company, in that stocks. So therefore, there's no maturity. So technically no maturity, you keep the stocks sampailah the day you decided to sell. Okay, and you sell to other people lah, to other investors, but it still not expires, there's no maturity. Okay, tapi untuk bonds, for example, these have maturity, and maturity dia panjang lah, more than 1 year, usually between 5 to 30 years. So this is a long-term investment ataupun long-term securities involving in transactions in the capital market. Okay, in the capital market. Okay, so we're going to go through this bond and stock more later masa dekat topik long-term financing. Okay, remember when we talk about instruments in the financial markets, always there got to be two sides. Ada surplus, ada deficit. Surplus ni bila kita nak invest, deficit ni bila kita nak borrow. Okay, always there's two sides of it. Okay, so bila kita cerita pasal financing, borrowing, kita akan bayangkan kita dekat deficit unit lah. Tapi at the same time, when using the same instruments in the money market atau capital market, we can be at the other side, whereby we are being the surplus ataupun the supplier of funds. Okay. 9:30 kita, I thought habis 10. Okay, so I think itu je sempat nak discuss for the day. Alright. Perhaps besok we're going to go through a bit on this section, the rest of the section, before we go through topic number 2 tomorrow lah. Okay, boleh ke? Still
Boleh, sir.
Okay, very for those yang mungkin tak familiar ataupun tak ni lagi, don't worry, it's just the introduction. So you're gonna see clearer perhaps when we go through the products, the decision making tools, so that you have better understanding and better view and how this finance works. So don't get intimidated dengan all the terms, like I said lah, terms, jargons, kalau you tak pernah dengar, don't worry, we're going to go through together. Okay, keep an open mind. What else? So for those yang lain, kalau masuk later tadi, don't forget to sign in your attendance. So you have until 9:45 to sign in. And inshallah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay, Assalamualaikum, and ada kelas lain buat sekejap lagi. Alright, thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Alright, welcome.